Life Sounds Like Energy. It was 1980. I was 16 and I'd been allowed to start going to concerts. And I'd been to one already at Cloudland, and Midnight Oil was going to be my second one in Cloudland. The experience from the first concert was fantastic because we discovered that Cloudland has a bouncing floor that they used to use for the old-time ballroom dancing. So when you hit against it, it flew you up in the air, and it was just a wild experience. So the night we went to see Midnight Oil, it was just unbelievable. I had long hair at that time. I was surfing and skateboarding. I'm a musician. I played the drums. I love Midnight Oil. They just put Head Injuries out in 1979, and this was 1980. And we were going to see them live for the first time. I can remember just being right up the front, and just the energy that was coming from the band was just captivating. It was like someone had stuck the spear through you and just had control of you. We were all moving in unison. And I remember how much steam was coming off Peter Garrett's head, and how much energy he had moving around and just commanding the stage. I remember us looking around, there was a couple of us at each other and just in disbelief, like this is just awesome. You know, this is what we wanted to do. A few of us played music. They played, and he would go off every now and then, and as the stories have been told, it is true. He had a tank of oxygen and he was breathing oxygen in to get his breath back, and just steam was pouring off his head. He was like a madman. And they came out for the encore, and Back on the Borderline was my favourite song off the album. They hadn't played it, so I was really hoping that they would. He came out, he had a plastic jug full of water, and he just stood there and poured it all over his head. And of course we were up the front, so we would get splashed with it, and we were lovingly taking it in. And then he stood back and he looked down and he saw me, and he grabbed the jug, turned the jug over and placed it on top of my head. And I was standing there and I didn't know what to do, whether I should take it off or not or anything like that. And they played the opening riff, and he ran back and ran forward and he booted it straight off my head. And I had enough time to turn around, and it was like slow motion, like it was just catapulting over the audience and stuff. And everyone for that minute just took gaze at this thing. And then they just into the song, and then next thing I just had hands and people all over me as if I was part of something that, you know, went down really special. So every time I hear that song, and by the way, we went home and we all shaved our heads. We went from long-haired guys to short-haired guys. Our music changed. We started playing a lot harder and a lot more aggressively. And ever since that night, I used to get picked out by people, and they said, "You're the guy at the concert Midnight Oil at Cloudland who got the jug kicked off his head." And I was like, yes, it was. So that's my story.